It was late October 2023. I was driving through eastern Colorado on Interstate 70, somewhere between Lyman and Burlington, after filming content for a trucking company documentary. I'd been on the road for almost 6 hours already, and the plan was simple: get home to Denver before midnight. That didn't happen. If you've never driven across eastern Colorado at night, let me explain something. People think Colorado is all mountains and ski resorts. It's not. Out there, it's just endless flat land, dead grass, old fences, and darkness so complete, it feels physical. At night, especially in the colder months, the highway feels abandoned. Around 10:30 p.m., the fog started rolling in. Not normal fog either. This stuff looked alive. It swept across the road in long gray waves, swallowing entire stretches of highway until my headlights couldn't push through anymore. Visibility dropped so fast it honestly scared me. 1 second I could see the tail lights of a semi maybe half a mile ahead. Then nothing. I slowed down to about 40, no music, no podcasts, just both hands on the wheel. The weird thing about driving in heavy fog is how fast your brain starts playing tricks on you. Every reflector post looks like a person. Every shadow feels wrong. You start second-guessing distances, movement, even sounds, and after a while, you stop feeling like you're driving somewhere. It feels more like you're stuck. I'd been driving like that for maybe 20 minutes when I saw the truck. It was sitting on the shoulder ahead of me. Old. Rusted. No company logos. One of those long-nosed Peterbilts from the 80s. Its hazard lights weren't on, which immediately felt strange. The truck was just sitting there in the fog, with all its lights off, like it had been abandoned. As I passed it slowly, I glanced over. The driver was standing outside the cab. He was tall, just really tall, wearing a dark flannel jacket and a trucker cap pulled low over his face. He wasn't waving for help or checking the engine or anything normal. He was just standing there, facing the road, watching traffic. Or watching me. I remember getting this horrible feeling in my stomach the second my headlights crossed over him. Something about the way he stood was wrong. Completely motionless, like a mannequin. I kept driving. I actually laughed nervously to myself afterward, trying to shake it off. Probably just a stranded driver waiting for roadside assistance. That's what I told myself. Then I saw him again. 15 minutes later. Same truck, same man, same position. This time on the opposite side of the highway. I felt every hair on my arms stand up instantly. There was no possible way, no exits, no turnarounds, no passing traffic, nothing. I checked my mirrors constantly after that, convinced someone was following me. But the road behind me stayed empty except for fog. Then my radio turned on by itself. Static exploded through the speakers so loudly I nearly swerved. I grabbed the volume knob immediately, but before I could turn it down, I heard something underneath the static. Breathing. Heavy breathing. Then a voice. Low. Distorted. Pull over. I froze. The voice didn't sound electronic. It sounded close. Like somebody sitting in the back seat, whispering directly behind my head. Pull over. I shut the radio off completely. The silence afterwards somehow felt even worse. That's when I noticed headlights behind me. Finally, another vehicle. At first I felt relieved, but the relief disappeared fast because those headlights weren't gaining on me naturally. They were matching my speed perfectly, staying maybe 50 feet back, close enough that I couldn't see the vehicle itself through the fog. Only the lights. I sped up. The lights sped up. I slowed down. So did they. For the next 10 minutes, those headlights stayed locked behind me like they were attached to my car. Then suddenly they disappeared. Not faded, not turned away. Gone. Completely gone. I kept staring into the rear view mirror, trying to understand where they'd gone, when something slammed onto the roof of my SUV. The entire vehicle shook violently. I screamed. It sounded like someone had jumped onto the car from above. My windshield cracked instantly from the impact. Then came the scratching. Long, slow, scraping noises dragged across the roof, directly over my head. I could literally hear fingernails scraping metal. I hit the gas hard. The road ahead vanished into fog as the scratching grew louder and faster, moving toward the driver's side window. And then I saw the hand. A pale hand slid down the glass beside me. The fingers were impossibly long, not human long. The skin looked gray under my headlights. I swerved so hard I almost rolled the SUV into the ditch. The hand disappeared immediately. A second later, the weight lifted off the roof. Gone. Just gone. I didn't stop driving for another hour. Eventually, the fog cleared near Byers, and I pulled into a gas station shaken so badly I could barely get out of the car. The first thing I noticed was the roof. There were dents all across it. Deep ones, like something incredibly heavy had been crawling on top of the vehicle. And scratched into the paint above the driver's side door were 5 long marks, too narrow to be made by tools, too deep to be tree branches. The gas station clerk asked if I'd hit an animal. I told him maybe. But here's the part I still can't explain. While I was inside paying for coffee, an old trucker sitting near the window asked me where I'd been driving. I told him, Eastern I-70, out past Lyman. The guy went completely quiet. Then he asked me one question. Did you see the stranded truck? I didn't answer. Didn't need to. He nodded slowly like he already knew. Then he told me something I've never forgotten. Back in the winter of 1986, a truck driver disappeared on that exact stretch of highway during a blizzard. Search teams found his Peterbilt parked on the shoulder 3 days later. Engine still running. Driver missing. But according to the police report, there were handprints all over the roof of the cab. If this story gave you chills, hit like and subscribe before the next one finds you.